Awesome. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining today's presentation about avoiding holiday frauds and scams. My name is Mark Futterhoff. I'm with the AARP ElderWatch program in Colorado. I'm so happy that you can join us today. I have a feeling that we'll have some other stragglers be joining us as the presentation goes on as well. Today, we're going to, acknowledging that the holiday season is upon us, we are going to be talking about different types of frauds and scams that maybe aren't necessarily unique to this time of year, but they might be a little bit more aggressive this time of year, and just things to think about. And just so you know, this presentation is obviously being recorded, as you probably got that pop-up screen that I just got saying that's being recorded. So if you have someone who can benefit from this information that you believe wants to watch it, this program will be up on a YouTube channel, and we'll share that information as well. Just a little bit about ElderWatch. ElderWatch is a 20-year partnership between AARP and the Colorado Attorney General's Office, a very unique program to Colorado. And what we do is education and outreach across the state of Colorado. In addition to, we have a volunteer staffed helpline that takes calls about different types of frauds and scams from across the state. We usually take about somewhere between 200 and 300 calls a month. So we get a good idea about different types of frauds and scams that are targeting people. And sometimes that even ramps up around the holidays, especially when people are seeing loved ones and concerned about different things that might be going on in their lives that they might not have realized. So we also do some great work on a national scale out of our office in Denver and Seattle, and we have volunteers across the country who also take calls as part of the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline. On that line, we're taking thousands and thousands of calls each month and have a crew of amazing volunteers who help people out with different situations involving fraud, scams, identity theft, financial exploitation, etc. So some great resources there, but just wanted you to know a little bit more about the work that we do. So today, we'll be talking specifically about some of the scams that we see around the holidays, and this is hopefully, you know, hopefully these scams don't bubble up too much. But again, just being cognizant of different types of things that are out there will hopefully be helpful as we talk to other people about scams and also just do our holiday shopping and that types of things as well. So I'm going to be talking about holiday shopping, gift card safety, shipping issues, charitable giving, different kind of changes that have happened since 2020. The Colorado Attorney General's Office already also has a consumer holiday guide that is great, and I'll tell you how to get that. There's also tips to staying safe and reporting. So just to start off, we're really lucky because AARP just today actually released data on a holiday shopping survey that they just conducted. And so any of the statistics that I'm sharing with you today are based on a national survey that AARP, again, just released today of adults 18 and over, and it's national representative survey talking about different types of scams that they might have experienced around shopping and online shopping and the holidays in general, and different things that are associated with holidays. So first statistic right there, 35% of US adults have experienced fraud when buying a product online through an ad. 69% of Americans will use their debit card this holiday season. And we only say that because credit cards have greater protection when you're using them. So the idea is educating people about the fact that credit cards might be a better way to go than a debit card, just because the money comes directly out of your account when you're using that debit card. So that, again, the protections are a little bit greater in that regard. Additionally, 45% of folks who responded intended to use a peer-to-peer payment app like Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, etc., to send money, and 69% of those peer-to-peer app users have sent someone to money they didn't know well. And so just a reminder about those, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But peer-to-peer payment apps are exactly what their name really says. It's supposed to be used for peers and people who you know. It's not supposed to be used for people who you don't know. And for anyone who's taking calls as part of our fraud helplines, we talk to people frequently who send money. I just talked to someone yesterday who sent money for concert tickets that never showed up because they sent it through Apple Pay, and it didn't. They never received tickets. So just because it was someone who they didn't know and they saw the advertisement for a pair of tickets on Twitter. So just something to be very aware of in terms of those things and some of the dangers that might be in store if you do intend to pay someone using a peer-to-peer payment app. Just some tips in terms of online shopping safety that we're thinking about with regard to these statistics and other ones. Updating your computer operating system and antivirus software is really important. I know a lot of people just use their computers to do online shopping, and so occasionally restarting that computer will get updates that go to Windows and other operating programs you might have on your computer. Additionally, having your antivirus software up to date is another important way of avoiding some of maybe the pop-ups that will show up on your screen during shopping. Also, do not use free public Wi-Fi when you're trying to use or access personal or financial information. It's especially important, when you're thinking about those places that are very public, like restaurants and coffee shops and libraries and different types of airports and that type of a thing. So be really careful about that, just because those networks might be accessible to bad characters and bad actors, and you don't want to end up having your credit card or other banking information or login information to different accounts exposed to other bad actors who might be on that same network. So be really careful about that. Do that shopping when you're at home or on a secure network that you are aware is a safe place, like work or home, that type of a thing. Additionally, only enter financial information on secured sites. Be sure to check for the HTTPS and the padlock symbols when you are shopping on any type of website, and also obviously when you're on a secure network. Shop with reputable merchants that you're familiar with, and do your research for those who are not. I think over the last year, we have seen a explosion of fake websites and fraudulent acting websites that have been popping up. And sometimes, for example, if you see an advertisement on Instagram or Facebook or other social media sites and then you click on that, they'll take you to a place where you don't really know where you're at. And some of those sites, I think, have really taken advantage of people in different ways because they use the different analytics of things that you might be searching for during your Google searches or your different shopping searches to then show you exactly what you want. And it is important that you are understanding who you're purchasing these items from and what type of reputation that they have. So, a really easy way to do this is to take the name of the company and, do a search in your search engine, Google or whatever you use, and put the word scam or fraud or review next to it and see if other people have reported that company as a scam or a fraud or had a bad experience with them in the past. And so it's a really easy way to just do a quick search to make sure the vendor you're working with is reputable. For folks who you buy stuff from all the time, it's not as big of a deal to do that type of research because you know what to expect. But for other entities that you've never purchased something from, some might even not have a name after you click on an ad on Instagram or Facebook. So be really cautious of that and take that one extra step to do your research because it might save you a lot of hassle down the road. Also, be sure to read the terms and conditions, small print, return policy, and verify contact information of the retailer. It's a red flag if they don't have any of these things, honestly. If there's no contact information and you don't know where you've been purchasing something from, there's a good chance it might be coming from somewhere on the other side of the world, and there's a good chance you might never receive it. So lots of people have experienced this type of issue over the last year or so as these ads have kind of exploded on our computers through different social media marketing. Also avoid offers that you consider to be too good to be true or not in line with market prices. So if you want to purchase something and everywhere that you're finding it, the purchase price is $350 and you find it for $100, it's also a red flag. Yes, everyone's shopping for a deal this time of year, and we hope that these deals are real. But again, if it's not coming from a reputable vendor or a reputable website that you have done business with before, don't trust it, because that is, again, where people get into hot water in terms of these different types of situations. So those are just some quick tips on online shopping safety. If you do have a question during the presentation, please put it in to the chat box and I will get to it as quickly as I can, or I'll get to it at the end of the presentation, but I'm happy to take any questions that you all have throughout the presentation as well. So there will be, I think, probably more in-person shopping this year than there was last holiday season. And so, it's important that we keep our smarts and safety tips up for any of those in-person shopping engagements as well. So again, reading reviews and doing price comparisons before heading to the store. Understand what you're getting into before you go to the store. I know my mom loves to go through all the ads at this time of year because there's so many of them, and see exactly what types of deals there are before doing that. Keep receipts and request gift receipts when you need them. Understand return policies, warranties, and rebates before leaving the store. It's very much like the online shopping that you're doing as well. Again, just other practical tips. Keep bags and packages in your trunk or out of sight when you're parked. I feel like every time I go to a neighborhood meeting, the police officers are saying that's the #1 thing that people did in terms of not giving someone a reason to break into their car. It's a good idea to make sure to hide anything in your car that you think has value or that would entice someone to get into your car. Be cautious in large crowds. There are pickpockets and other thieves still lurking out there. And again, unfortunately, holiday season, but that type of thing still does happen. So let's talk about gift cards for a second. And gift cards are one of the top forms of currency that scammers are looking for, and they want people to buy gift cards because they're very easily liquidated. When I'm talking about gift cards with regards to this conversation, it's more about the retail gift cards and the purchasing of gift cards. So it's a little bit different than just don't send gift cards as a form of payment, and not. It's more about the purchasing of actual gift cards. And so I'll say, again, in that survey, we found that 21% of US adults gave or received a gift card with no value on it. And so that's an alarming statistic, because that means 1 in 5 people who have purchased gift cards before have had that experience. And so what we're trying to do is avoid that as part of this holiday season. And so again, 66% of people plan to purchase gift cards as a holiday gift, and 60% rely on purchasing them off the rack. And so when I say off the rack, I'm talking about those huge racks at the end of the aisles at large grocery stores, King Soopers, Walmart, any of the drugstores as well, like CVS and Walgreens. So we see those racks everywhere we go now, and retailers want you to buy them and purchase lots of them, and they'll even give you incentives, obviously, like deals off of gas and that type of a thing. So they exist in our lives, and it's typically okay to go off those racks, but you just need to be extra cautious when you're doing so, and I'll tell you why. So if you buy from the rack, it's really important that you inspect it thoroughly for tampering and ensure the PIN number on the back is not visible and the packaging is still intact. So what scammers have done in certain occasions is gone through those racks and sometimes copied down the number and taken the PIN number as well, and then kind of waited for someone to purchase that gift card. And that's what's the problem that we find when we see that US adults gave or received gift cards with no value on it. That's often the situation. There obviously is some error that can happen in terms of the purchase with the cashier and with the person purchasing it as well. But there also is fraud involved in some of these situations. And so to make sure that the purchase that you're making is going ends up in the hands of your recipient, your friend or family member who you're giving it to for the holidays, inspect that packaging very closely and making sure there's no kind of tampering involved in it whatsoever. If there is tampering involved in gift cards that you're seeing, make sure to notify the store clerks about it so other people don't get involved in that situation. One way of avoiding that is also to purchase gift cards directly online from the retailer. And so you can, if you do that, you'll end up with more of like an online receipt or an email of the gift card as well. And so again, you're taking away that middleman of the retail store in terms of purchasing that directly from an online retailer. Also be sure to give the receipt to the recipient of the person in case there is a problem. If it's possible, and some of these places, it is possible with some gift cards, some it's not. You can register your gift cards online and or change the PIN number once you've registered it online. And so, read the information on the back of the card, see if this is possible. But every gift card situation is a little bit different. But some retailers and some sellers of gift cards have put in some protections in place, but largely still there are protections you need to watch out for yourself. Be careful when purchasing gift cards from secondhand marketplaces. There are websites that offer up gift cards that you can purchase maybe sometimes for a discount if you received a gift card you didn't want. If you got a Macy's gift card from mom for Christmas and you never go to Macy's and you would never use it, there's different websites and different opportunities that sometimes offer up places to sell those. And you might receive, if you use the $50 gift card, it might give you $45 for it, that type of a thing. So really do your research about what other customers' experiences have been when using those types of secondhand gift card marketplaces, because you don't want to end up with a gift card that has zero value on it in these situations. Only work with someone who's reputable. And a lot of those times, if people are offering gift cards, they could be a large amounts of fraud involved and where those gift cards are coming from as well. So remember that, and just be very cautious about making sure you're working only with reputable organizations. If your gift card has been redeemed and you find the situation and you find yourself as one of these 21% of U.S. adults, be sure to call the number on the back of the card and locate the receipt to the contact, and contact the retailer as well. Let them know what happened and see if there's any recourse in terms of the situation that you were involved with. So obviously, with all the online shopping that's going on and all of the different purchases that are being made this time of year, there are different shipping and receiving safety procedures to think about. And so, as part of this survey, 1 in 4 U.S. adults have received a package had a package stolen from outside their home. So again, that seems fairly common. And in this era where people are receiving things every day, it might be even more common. 34% of U.S. adults have received a fake notification about a shipment. And so it's just a reminder about all the different types of phishing attempts that are coming out in the names of UPS and FedEx and USPS and all those different types of entities as well. So again, watching out for those 2 phishing claims. And here's some tips in terms of the shipping and receiving safety that you need to remember. Provide specific delivery instructions for the shipping company when you have that available to you. So when you order something, sometimes they'll ask you specifically for any shipping instructions, or you might receive confirmation from UPS or FedEx and they'll ask you if you have specific shipping instructions as well. Provide it if you have it. It's a way to help make sure that hopefully your package is not stolen. Track the packages and or require a signature just to make sure you receive it. Sometimes it'll go to a holding location, which is less convenient than coming to your home, but it also might ensure that you receive it. So think about those types of things in terms of especially the value of what's coming to your home. get packages to your work or other safe location where someone will receive it. This is definitely an option you can think about if you are going to the office as a location, or you have a friend or family member who lives nearby whose location might be a little bit more protected than and out of sight than yours. There's also different services and lock boxes that you can have it delivered directly to, or locations that you can go pick things up at. If you don't feel comfortable with whatever the item is that you have, potentially, especially if you're not going to be home, being lifted off your front porch or in your lobby at your building or whatever it may be. And those alternative spots are really important to know about. You'll see them more and more. I definitely have picked things up from gas stations before and different types of locations. So learn about your options, and particularly with Amazon and UPS and FedEx and other retailers like that, there are options that you can use and go pick them up if you don't feel comfortable having them come to your house. Again, avoid those fake shipping tracking emails that are phishing for personal and financial information. These are coming as emails and text messages. I've seen really good ones, and they're usually going to have you click on links and trying to get you to give you information. So, especially if you're not expecting anything and you see one of these types of emails come in, or a text message like this come in, be really skeptical of the contact and delete it. And you can check directly with the entity. Go back to the purchase email or receipt that you have and see if it's in line with anything that's coming. Just expect these to ramp up during the holiday season because, again, more people are shipping things than they normally would be. So giving is also obviously a large part of the holiday season, and something that folks need to be watching out for in terms of the different types of potential fraudulent charitable solicitations that are out there right now. So, and as part of the survey, 38% of U.S. adults say they have received a charity request that seemed fraudulent to them. And so, again, just being really cognizant of the different types of requests that you're getting, and only really replying to the ones that you know are legitimate, and doing extra research about ones that you don't. And so in Colorado, there's a website, checkthecharity.com, and this is only for folks in Colorado, but it's a collaboration between the Secretary of State's office, the Attorney General's office, and the Colorado Nonprofit Association. But essentially, it's a website where you can verify if that charity that you received contact from is registered to solicit donations in the state. And so it's a great resource for people to check out, just to ensure that the business is actually registered to solicit donations here in Colorado. Other things that you need to consider when doing when charitable giving: ask how much of the donation goes to the charity versus the fundraiser. If you receive an unsolicited call from a charity, and again, this happens more this time of year than probably any other, and they're a legitimate charity, you can ask them, and they have to give you a response in terms of how much is going to the charity versus going to the person on the phone. And so it's an important step to take in these situations where you are still giving money over the phone. But I don't think that's necessarily the best way to give money just in general. Be skeptical of organizations with similar names as other well-known charities. I think this is really important because sometimes organizations piggyback off of what the good name of another organization. So it could be something very close to the American Cancer Society, or different types of versions of that that could be could do less work and less programming than what you hoped or intended in terms of the donation that you're giving. So be really careful about those. Avoid high pressure tactics. Do your research first. Again, going to the website of the organization, looking at their annual report, understanding where the money is actually going to with regard to that organization and the programming that's happening is a really smart thing to do before giving your money. I think it's really important for people, especially, consider giving to organizations that their work, and exactly, what your money is going towards. I give local and I give to organizations that I know do good work, and I recommend other people do, but I know there's lots of other national organizations and other regional organizations that people want to give money to, and I think that's totally fine. But you probably have a relationship or understand that organization for a certain reason. Watch out for different types of tactics that charities use that are very similar to marketing tactics. One of them, for an example, would be to send out those return address labels. And so that's still a tactic that I know charities use. And you're feeling like you have to give because you did receive something like a return address label that has tangible value to you. And so don't feel pressure to give in those situations, especially if you're not familiar with the organization, and do your research again about the organization and figure out if it's worthy of your hard-earned money. Avoid unsolicited requests over the phone, in general, in the mail, or at your door. Again, doing your research is really important on this. Charity watchdog sites like give.org or charitynavigator.org are really good places to start in terms of doing a little bit of research about the charity. And so they're telling you typically how much money is going to certain programming as part of the organization, and it's just good, one extra step to do a little bit of due diligence in terms of the work that the charity is actually doing. So, check out sites like that. There are other ones as well, but those are just a couple that are. The give.org is run by the BBB, and charitynavigator.org is mostly for larger organizations, but it's a good place. Again, in Colorado, that checkthecharity.com is the place to go if you just want to see if that charity is registered to solicit donations. They don't have a lot of additional information to that. So, after I would go to checkthecharity.com, I would also then go to likely that organization's website, look at their annual report, and then see, again, where money is going when donations are given, that type of thing. Also recommend, lots of charities and organizations that receive donations have places where you can kind of direct money within their programming. And so, use those functions to really make sure your money is going to the correct places. So in 2021, just some trends that we're seeing and things to watch out for that I just wanted to bring up. Again, people are using their phones more than ever for shopping and donating and all the different types of things. So I think one really important thing that people forget about is phone safety. And just make sure that your phone has some type of a barrier in case you lose it for some reason to, getting onto the phone. So whether that's a passcode or a fingerprint or facial identification or whatever you want it to be, just so it has some type of a barrier. So in case you lose your phone, because there's definitely probably more information. I know I saw a statistic about it recently, but there's more information probably on your phone than there is on your computer anymore, your home computer. And so just remember that it's important to have that barrier there. Increased shopping online also equals increased opportunities for scammers. And so again, being online is just another venue for scammers to find you. And you shouldn't be scared about it, but you should just be vigilant of it. And I just want to make sure folks are particularly vigilant of that. Social media is a hotbed for scam retailers as well. And so those ads that I was talking about, be really, really skeptical of different ads that you click on within websites, especially if you're not familiar with the retailer, and put that extra. I mean, I just know personally when I'm scrolling through my Instagram feed, all the different things that are advertising to me are things that I've searched on my phone before or searched on my web browser before, and so I know that Big Brother's out there watching me, and they know what I want, and they want to sell it to me in a serious way. And so just remember that, and remember, that doing your research is going to save you pain down the road. There's still lots of misinformation about peer-to-peer payment apps like Venmo and Cash App. And so again, when you're using those apps, very much like a gift card, they should only be going to people who you know, and not being used for payment with someone who you don't know. And so it's really important to remember that and remind people who might be using those very frequently. We find that lots of younger people who are very accustomed to using apps like that and paying their friends for, splitting dinner, or, paying for splitting whatever costs that they might have, rent, that type of a thing, are using these more often and more comfortable using them. And so important to remind people that you don't know who's on the other end in some situations, and you should only be paying people who you know, and not be just paying for random services from people who you don't know that you're expecting a return on, like the ticket story I just told you about, or other items that you might be buying on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist as well. Again, gift cards remain one of the top methods of payment requested by scammers. And so again, if you receive a call from someone and they're asking you to pay via gift card, it's a scam. Again, gift cards should only be given to me during the holiday season, or people who you know, and that's totally fine. They should not be given to people who you don't know, and as a payment method. There's lots of Amazon imposters out there right now, and just a hint, Amazon will not call you, just like our government agencies and Microsoft and other big entities that have lots of imposters using their name. Amazon's not calling you. And there's also lots of Amazon imposter emails out there that are kind of floating around. They might come into your inbox and say that you purchased a TV or an iPhone, usually a high ticket item that's over $1,000. And then it'll give you information about who to contact to resolve this issue. And the reality is there's no purchase that was ever made on your account. They're just trying to convince you that there's a problem, and they're trying to get you to the scammer who's going to help you, aka try to drain your account and get all of your bank information. So be really, really careful about these this holiday season, as more and more people use Amazon to buy different gifts and products. Free trial offers also remain a problem. This when I say free trial offers, lots of the times this is health products. We've seen this year a lot of diet pills, and we've also seen a lot of still wrinkle cream, face cream, that type of a thing. Lots of health products because people might have thought they lost or they gained weight over the pandemic, or they're going back out and they want to look good. And so they're going to the internet to look for these products that are going to help save them, and they might get a free trial offer for that. Oftentimes what happens is that they give their credit card for the shipping and handling of the free trial offer, and then after that they start getting charged $89 a month for this product that didn't work and they don't want anymore anyways. So be really careful about those types of offers and avoid them at any cost because they are a mess. Marketplace fraud is also a real thing. So be extra careful when you're dealing with Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp. Only deal with people who are local. Don't deal with people who are saying you're going to ship items and pay, again, via Venmo or gift card or Cash App, anything like that. So be really careful about purchases. These marketplaces are intended for locals. They're not intended for people who are living outside of your, I use the 25-mile rule on all these, and it's the same for me that I use with people who are involved in romance scams. If that person is out of a 25-mile radius of you, is it really worth it? Probably not. So move on from that. Also, phishing, we talked about phishing from shipping companies and retailers. Again, this is on the rise, and we expect to see it more during the holiday season. Scam texts are more common than ever. Scammers follow trends, and they know that people are texting more than they ever have before. And so people might trust a text more than they do even an email these days. And so understand that, and understand that if you have links or downloads within a text message that you receive, and you don't know who that person is, just like a phishing email or scam email, you should not be clicking on that, and you should be deleting it out of your inbox for your SMS messages. Again, take one additional step to do research on any retailer you've not done business with before. Again, this might save you pain and heartache down the road in terms of the dealings with that organization. The Colorado Attorney General's Office has a consumer holiday guide, and it has lots of great information, lots of the tips that are shared today, even more. Though in this booklet, I would suggest checking it out. They have information on charity fraud, online dating, scams, or online donating, sorry, and online dating, I think actually isn't there too. Safe shopping, cyber shopping, using QR codes, holiday loans, and also reporting of frauds and scams. And so if you want to get a copy of that, they have an online version of it. And I believe you can also order them in bulk on their website. But if you go to stopfraudcolorado.gov, it's on our last slide as well. I'll show you that and remind you that you can go to that website to get that holiday guide. So just some last tips to stay safe during the holiday season or anytime. And again, if anyone has a question as part of this session, please put it in the chat box right now and I'll address it as soon as I can. If you don't have a question, that's totally okay. But please do, if you do have a question, let me know and I'm happy to answer it. I'm also happy to answer questions offline and also give you our helpline in terms of being able to ask questions directly to the ElderWatch helpline as well. So again, tips to stay safe during the holiday season or really anytime, protect that personal information. Scammers are looking for information like banking information, social security numbers, all that good stuff. Protect it, don't give it to anyone. And don't, especially willy-nilly. Be skeptical of anyone you don't know who's contacting you. It doesn't matter whether it's via phone, email, mail, text. If you don't know that person, they're not registered in your phone or they're not registered in your email inbox or they're showing up at your door and you don't know who it is, it's okay to avoid that person and delete that information as well. Ask yourself, what does this person want? Again, with these bad actors, it's often personal information or some type of money. So if that person you can tell is only after your personal information or your money, it's time to disconnect with that person. Ignore urgent requests. Scammers don't want you to take time to think about things, and they don't want you to ask others about what's going on as well. So if someone's telling you you only have 5 minutes to act on this offer, then it's a pretty good idea that this is some type of a scam or a ruse that you should be avoiding. Anything that, any other things in terms of this type of request is something that you should be able to move on to and figure out kind of if it's a product that you want, wait till the next time where it goes on sale with a retailer who doesn't have the urgency that you're experiencing with that person. Avoid strange methods of payment. If someone's asking you to pay with a green dot card and you don't know what a green dot card is, it's a really good time to disconnect with that person. I don't even know what a green dot card is, but I use it as an example all the time. And I think, if someone's asking you to pay in a non-traditional mechanism, it's very similar to the IRS scams. If the IRS is asking you to pay in Home Depot gift cards, take a step back and realize how odd that request is. And do that for yourself as well. If you've never downloaded Cash App before and someone's saying you have to have Cash App to pay them right now, it's probably, again, a good sign of a scam. Be really careful about that. If it sounds too good to be true, obviously it is. And please report the different types of frauds and scams that you are being approached by so we can let other people know about them in venues like this and through AARP publications, etc. So just some resources. Again, if you have any specific questions about holiday scams or want to chat with someone, you can always call the ElderWatch helpline. The phone number is 1-800-222-4444. You press option 2, you get a hold of us. The Stop Fraud Colorado website is what I referred to before. They have that consumer holiday guide that I would recommend checking out, but they also have a bunch of other great information about different types of frauds and scams that people are exposed to on their website. And so it's a good place to poke around and understand the different types of frauds and scams that our Coloradans are dealing with across the state. FTC is a great place to report frauds and scams as well. They're kind of the main repository for all frauds and scams that are being reported to different places across the country, including AARP, the BBBs, Attorney General's offices. And so the FTC kind of compiles all of that data on the different types of frauds and scams that are out there. IdentityTheft.gov is one of the resources that I use most frequently. in terms of helping people with different types of identity theft related issues. And so again, identitytheft.gov, a great place to go for information about preventative ways of protecting your identity, but also solving situations where your identity might have been compromised as well. IC3.gov is the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. It's a great place to go to report any types of internet crimes that you're dealing with. So if you experience a website that is fraudulent as part of your online shopping experiences this year, report it to IC3.gov, please. Also, different types of social media scams should be reported directly to IC3.gov as well. AARP FraudWatch Network has tons of great information about frauds and scams across the board. It also has, if you go to that aarp.org/FraudWatch Network, there are the entire AARP new survey on frauds and scams that I referenced in today's presentation is up there, and you can check out the entire survey. There's lots of great information in the survey about people's experiences with frauds and scams and things you should know. Again, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat box, but I don't see any yet, and which is totally fine. I do want to say one more time that this presentation is being recorded, and so if you believe that someone who you know would benefit from this information, it will be up on a YouTube page in the coming days. It's straight off of the AARP Colorado YouTube page, and we have all of our presentations that we do as part of ElderWatch located on there so people can watch it at any time. So again, I appreciate you being on today's webinar. I hope you learned a little bit about the different types of frauds and scams that approach people during the holidays. And again, thank you so much and have a great rest of the day.